Driver Jason Thompson has been a very familiar face on the show. Not only have we seen him in victory lane on many occasions, but he's also been our on-camera talent, from giving tips on road trips to the holidays to how a driver preps for an upcoming night in the race bike. But what's the story behind the man they call the Jet? Well, there's no better way to find out than with a post-time Q&A segment. How did you get into the business?
Fourth generation. My grandfather and dad tried to keep me away from it, and I tried a lot of other things and then figured out I was kind of good at it.
What's the last picture you took on your phone?
It would have been a picture of my rope horse in Leesburg, Virginia on Saturday. I was at a team roping.
What's the best advice you've ever gotten about driving horses, and who was it from?
It was from Pop, and he always told me, he said, because when I started, I was a lot more aggressive than I am now, which is how I earned the nickname the Jet. But he always told me to treat the horse like a trainer. He said, if you drive him like a trainer, you'll have something left for next week. And that's something that T-Trick, I talk to Timmy on the phone a lot, and he tries to beat that in my head too. He says, you know, these guys going these stupid miles, they're not gonna have a horse left at the end of the year. He said, you know, you watch him, he never really, everybody gets emotional and he will overdrive a horse just like anybody else, but 9 times out of 10, Timmy will take care of a horse better.
What's something about you that people may not know?
I'm pretty cocky and confident 95% of the time, but there's a few things in this life that can knock me down a peg, and I turn into a little crybaby, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not telling what they are.
If you could be on the cover of any magazine, which magazine would you choose?
Well, my second choice, because I can't say my first choice because this is a family show, would be Sports Illustrated. I mean, I look at this as a sport just like everybody in this business does. A lot of people would say it isn't, but I would tell those people sit in a race bike for 2 minutes and tell me what you think afterwards.
If you weren't driving or training horses, what would you be doing?
When I got hurt a couple years ago, I moved to North Carolina. I was roping a lot, training on some horses, some riding horses. I love that, or farming with my dad, but I'm kind of here right now, driving horses and out riding at the Meadowlands.
Have you ever met anyone super famous?
Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle, the NASCAR drivers. When I was in North Carolina, the lady I was working for, they were very well off. They lived on Lake Catawba, where all the NASCAR drivers live. On one side, Kyle Busch lived, on the other side, Greg Biffle lived, and their kids ended up taking riding lessons at the farm I lived at. So I got to drink beer with some NASCAR drivers. That's pretty cool.
What's the longest you've gone without sleep?
During COVID, when the racing was shut down, I was buying and selling a lot of horses. I had 12 horses on the trailer. I drove from Delaware to Billings, Montana, and I did not sleep. And I sold a bunch of them, bought a couple. I slept for an hour in the truck and drove all the way back home. So it was like 27 hours each way.
What's your favorite thing to spend money on, other than horses?
I mean, there isn't really much in my life that it doesn't agree with horses. When it comes down to it, I hate horses, but I love them because it's how I make my living. But they're also a 24/7 job. You have no life. You always got to make sure they're taken care of. You can't go somewhere for 2 weeks without having somebody lined up to take care of them. So I'd have to say on beer, honestly. Honestly. And that's got to do with horses because they make me drink. They'll drive you to drink, so.
What do you bring to a friendship?
I mean, it's awesomeness. What can I say? I mean, greatest that ever lived, but also the humblest, you know? There's that cockiness and confidence again.
What's the coolest thing you've ever done?
I got to rope with Trevor Brazil, which you probably don't know who that is. He's a 26-time world champion. And when I was 18, I went with Bucky Jester, an older guy out of Pondtown, Maryland that roped a bunch. And he called me out of the blue and said, do you want to go to this World Series team roping? And I was young and had no clue what the hell he was talking about. And it was 3 days before Christmas, I'll never forget. And my mom threw a fit. And Dad said, you can go. So Dad dropped me off at Bucky's house over there near Sudlersville. We drove 20 hours straight down to, what was it called? It was right outside Florence, Alabama, but it was in Tennessee. In Iron City, Tennessee. It was the middle of nowhere. And the next day I woke up and we're gonna rope and I don't know anybody and I didn't even know what a draw was at that point, which is where you draw for partners if you don't know anybody. And Bucky says, just put in for the draw and see who you get. And I drew Trevor Brazil and who else did I draw? There was another guy that made it to the NFR the year before too, and they were both down in that area, and I drew both of them, and they rode up and they're like, oh, so we're roping together, and I'm, just starstruck, mouth wide open. And I missed my first one. Trevor brought us back. We got clean on the second one, but the whole time, like, I've never in my life been starstruck like that before. But that was probably the coolest thing I ever did. Because then, in 2018 or 19, I believe, I went to my first NFR in Vegas. And that was the last year Trevor rodeoed, so I got to go out there and watch him in Vegas. That was pretty cool.
Other than winning, what is your favorite part about working in harness racing?
I like the fact that, you do have a boss as in your judges and the commission and stuff like that, but more or less you're kind of, an independent contractor, and I like that you get to set your own hours. Like if I don't want to come race tonight, I could have said last week I won't be there Tuesday. I know that affects my paycheck down the road, but still you have a little bit of independence.
Who is your favorite superhero?
That would be my grandfather. He taught me everything there is to know. He was the one who pushed me when I wanted to rodeo and stuff like that, and there's nobody in my family that rodeos. So he made some calls, got me hung up with Mike Beaver, who let me rope my first live cow, him and Jimmy Slotchauer, and Pop drugged me around a lot of places, and that was my best buddy there. That's my hero.
What's your best life advice?
There's a lot, If you want to do it, just go do it. You only got so many days here, and I don't understand people that let other people get under their skin and tell them they're not enough. I have my own confidence. Like I've got enough for the state of Delaware, so you can't talk me down. Just go do it and be confident about it. Like going with your chest bowed out like you're getting ready to do something.